My boyfriend doesn't know how to spell. A year ago, I started receiving anonymous love letters in my school locker. They were simple, handwritten notes that talked about everything from how my hair was dark like the night sky to the small things I did without thinking, like tapping my pencil or humming softly when I was focused. Sometimes the letters were only a few lines long, saying things like, "You look tired today. I hope you're okay." Or, "You wore that big hoodie again. I like it. Looks soft." My secret admirer kept noticing things about me that no one else ever seemed to see, and even though it probably should have felt weird or even a little creepy, it never did. Though that was only because there was something in the letters that made it impossible for me to find the whole situation creepy. If anything, it made me laugh because this was in the letters every time, without fail. They always started with "Dear Nicole" instead of "Dear Nicole." At first I thought it was a funny joke, something put there with the intent of making me laugh. And it worked. I laughed harder and harder every time. I even looked forward to a new letter just to see my name next to the word "dear." I found it so funny I eventually showed it to all my friends and it became our inside joke. But as the letters continued for months, I realized the spelling wasn't meant for me. It was done on purpose. Eventually, my secret admirer confessed to me. We got to know each other through more than just his writing and the sheet of paper that connected us. And after 3 months, we started dating, and it wasn't until Valentine's Day that I thought to ask about the misspelling of the word "dear" in his letters. He had written me yet another letter, and this time he wanted me to open it in front of him. He said he had missed all my other reactions to his letters and wanted to see this one. So I opened it, and there it was, the infamous "Dear Nicole." I didn't continue reading and asked him why he spelled dear like that. He immediately looked confused and said, "That's how you spell it." I remember laughing, and he just looked so hurt. I had to clear my throat to stop myself from laughing after seeing that reaction. Then I went on to tell him it was spelled D-E-A-R, not D-E-E-R, like the animal. He said no one had ever told him that before. I asked him how that was possible. That's when my boyfriend revealed his past to me for the first time. He grew up an orphan after his mom died in childbirth, and his dad abandoned him. He was raised in an orphanage in a very poor town where things like food and education were a privilege. Because of that, he didn't have anyone to teach him how to read or write. Instead, he had to teach himself up until he was 14 and was able to go to school. He said for years he would beg for food or money on the streets, and then he would trade them for a book at a library. He said it was lucky the librarian took a liking to him because no other librarian would ever give a book for a piece of bread. Once he started this system up, every day he would sit with a book in hand and sound out the words, put the letters together in his head, and read. Since there was no one to help him, he became the person he needed all on his own. He'd even taught some younger kids in the orphanage so that none of them had to fend for themselves the way he had. All I could do was hug him after he told me that. And on top of comforting him, I thought about all the times I laughed when I saw the word "dear," but now I don't laugh at it. I never corrected him again, and the word became something only we understood. Every letter he writes still starts with "Dear Nicole," and I wouldn't want it any other way.